Kyle, listen, I know the upload date looks like it's been an extra week, but that's not true. We've actually just been suppressing our Yoma energy this whole time, and you did a fantastic job.
This is going to be a great reveal in the last bit of Claymore that we're yet to read, that Yoma energy can indeed induce time travel. The plot's going to
Oh
get
my
great coming up here,
goodness.
and it's going to be
Right.
terrific. And you'll all know that it's actually your fault that we're behind, not our fault.
True. And it's all because Claymore is actually just Attack on Titan.
Oh my goodness, you stole the talking point right out of my little mouth. Oh, is that
Oh,
where we're
okay.
beginning, or should we get into it later?
I mean,
Oh no, you were making a time travel joke. You weren't even making an island joke.
I know, but both are true. Both are true.
It's true. Well, actually, the first one isn't true, but the second one's true.
Well, the joke, whatever. Okay. We're back to Claymore.
Yes.
Again. This was
We shouldn't peak too soon, all right? Maybe time travel will be a thing. We never know.
Honestly, yeah, no, with the way things are changing, I would not be surprised.
Claire is Teresa, is
no.
Raptalia.
So true.
That's why everybody. That's why those guys want Raptalia and Claire to meet, because they're actually the same person.
Oh my god. I actually genuinely, sincerely hope not. Not even that specifically. I hope there's no time
like
travel.
A good time travel?
It's already getting a little crazy here. If it gets crazier, oh man, I don't know. Okay, but this is chapter.
I feel like if there was time travel, we would have heard of it. But perhaps.
I don't know. I've heard nothing about Claymore. I'm not spoiled on anything. Well, sorry, no. I was spoiled on one thing, on how Raki is that tall man. Well, I guess I wasn't spoiled on it, but you called it out, and I was like, okay, so that's gonna be him. Like
actually,
that was so clear. Yeah,
that wasn't him. It was just an image of Dolph and Rifle or whatever.
Are you serious?
However you say a name. So it wasn't even them.
There's no way.
Absolutely true. It was, yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure.
I totally thought it was them. Hold on. This can't be true.
Now, with every passing second after I've made that comment, I'm losing confidence in my statement, but I'm pretty sure.
I saw it and I was like, yeah, I believe you.
I mean, it could be either, right? They kind of have the same silhouette now.
Trying to find which inside cover this was.
It would be the volume after the one we ended on. It's a crazy thing. Anyway, you were going to announce the chapters we're covering today.
I was trying so hard. We are covering chapter 68 to the end of chapter 95. So a smaller batch this time, but I still think a good chunk, good amount to talk about.
Yes. Now, importantly, unlike the last times, we are kind of stopping in the middle of action here. Even though it is technically the end of an arc, because the title chapter part thingy changed, right? And it didn't seem to be changing for the whole next volume, and frankly, we didn't have time to read that much. But I guess we should say, do you want me to do my little recap thing? Because I have it kind of written out.
Yeah.
Because this probably makes sense to do before overall thoughts. So what we've covered this evening is we ended off basically with the very beginnings of the time skip. The girls all decided that we're not going to stay in the snowy north anymore, and we're going to go down. And we met Clarence, who is the new number 47. Coincidentally, also with Claire at the beginning of her name. What's going on there? And we'd met her, and then basically we run through a bunch of stuff that happens here. Though also, not that much, because it's a lot of bigger events that are taking longer to happen. So basically they go south. They have an initial encounter with a Rufel. How are we saying this name? Rufel? Reefel?
I thought it was Reefel.
Reefel. I don't know how anything's said. With Reefel here, she's fighting this group of new Claymores. Obviously 7 years has passed, so we don't know any of them. They were single digits, I forget which number. Then we have to save them, and we have an initial counter, and Claire pisses off Reefel. And then we transition into Clarence and Miata. Is that how we're saying this name now?
Sure. Yeah, that's what I went with.
Miata, who's like a little girl and does suck on Clarence's teat, which is crazy. There's no fan service in Claymore, though, apparently. They have to go and try and kill Galatia in Robana, or whatever that city's called, the big holy city, and Claire's boyfriend is back, Mia. I know you're excited.
I couldn't believe it.
And then there's a whole... Yes. I was so happy. Mostly for my ability to gloat in this discussion. There's an encounter there. There's an awakened in the city, plus Galatier, and it's doing another Claymore thing, which seems to be a very consistent thing that was sort of started with that Ophelia arc, where there's like 3 parties usually all clash, and it's a big mix-up. There's 4 in the arc we end on here, so this is all crazy stuff. Anyway, Claire has to come in and save the day. We move on from that arc. If you're familiar, you'd understand all the little details. Then at the end of that, we get a lot of Mariah's revelations here about all of her secret sleuthing she's been doing. So that was some crazy stuff. We learned that we're on an island. There's a big continent with an actual war going on to, I don't remember where it is, to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. It could be anywhere. We meet a character named Renee, who is the new number 6, and she's got like braided hair. It looks pretty cool. And she encounters Raki and Priscilla, who are separated from Islay, which is important. We meet Raki. He's a big, strapping young lad, ready for to be Claire's husband. This is going to be terrific. And he kills a Yomer, even though he's a human. So that was a little crazy. But then the great Renee we've just met gets captured by Reefel, or whatever her name is, and Reefel has the twins' bodies, and she wants to awaken them, and then Claire shows up to try and save the day. But then elsewhere, Helen and Denevie, how are we saying this name? I forget the casting girls, how we say it properly. Deneve is stupid. Deneve is good. They nearly get killed by Islay in this weird town, but then Islay gets killed, can you believe
Islay's
it, by these new enemies called...
It's crazy.
Fucking dead! It is crazy, by these abyss feeders, who are these crazy little demonic zombie-looking fellas that the organization has left out. They also meet a young lady who's a pretty young lady called Dietrich or something. How the fuck are we saying this one? Go ahead,
I think you got it. I think you got it. Yeah, Dietrich.
I don't even remember how I said it. Dietrich?
I guess I would have said Dietrich.
Diet Rich.
Diet Rich. Let's go. You know what? Yeah. What the hell? Diet Rich.
Yes, we met Diet Rich, and she talked to Mariah Mir. Did you hear that part? About Mariah, and they have a little conversation. And then Helen and Deneve, I remember, they head over to what we end up with on this sort of little final battle for the little section we have, where it's this big 4-sided affair. We've got Reefel and Doff versus Claire and her 2 lackeys, whose names are Uma and...
Can you get it?
No, I don't think I can. Cynthia?
There you go. Very good.
Oh, I'm a genius. And then Beth and Alicia showed up. It was crazy. And then the abyss feeders show up too, and they're all hunting them down. And basically, exactly where we leave off, these are the standings. Beth is down. She got impaled. So is Dorf. He got fucked up by Alicia. The girls are surrounded just like they were in the north, can you believe it? And the feeders are closing in on Reefel. Unbelievable stuff. So don't be spoiling anything from there, commenters, all right? That's exactly where we're up to. And we're pretty sure something's going to happen in the next few chapters that probably changes the complexion of things. Did I miss anything, Mia?
No, we're good.
I'm sure I did. You're lying, but that's okay.
I mean, maybe some little extra chapters, but... We'll talk about it.
We did get 4 extra chapters that were very interesting. We got one about Teresa, one about Claire, one about Mariah, and one about...
It was Isley meeting Priscilla.
That's true. Some of these seemed important, because I'm assuming these were like volume extras.
That's what I would assume,
so, that's kind of crazy. But sure. Interesting. I guess this is where we go into overall thoughts. And I think, Mia, you go first, because, I'm just speaking so much.
I think kind of hit the nail on the head in saying that there was a lot of just kind of big events here and much longer arcs. Still, like, I guess, small and contained, but they just kind of take longer. And I feel like there is just kind of less to talk about with each. And that's probably just because it was, I don't know, there's fewer exciting moments every chapter. I mean, there's still like the good Claymore stuff that you'd expect. It's still just like it's got that Claymore feel, so it's going to be fun to read. But in terms of things that really stuck out to me, it would have been the reveal of the like kind of reality of the outside world and the organization, and then also the death supposedly of Isley, which is crazy. Besides those things, I don't think there's any major thing that I'd be like, I gotta talk about this. This was so cool. You know, it's just good Claymore stuff.
Yeah, I think the twin stuff is up there. I like this stuff because I don't think we knew what happened to Raftalia. Am I saying the name right, or is that just the One Piece Island?
That is the One Piece Island.
Wait, no, that's Laftel now. I know the old name. But
Pretty
funny,
sure
whatever. One
Raphaella.
Piece. We don't need to talk about that. Yes, Raffaella. Raftalia is kind of a cool name, though. Should we change it?
Would be cooler. Let's
petition them. You know what I saw the other day? To pivot slightly, I saw a tweet from clearly like the Claymore. I'm Tweety Bird. The Claymore community on Twitter, where they were like, they're all very optimistic that they're getting a new anime soon, which I think that would be very interesting timing for us. But they were like, oh yes, the author's getting, there was some like momentum they were talking about building. I don't know how I got this tweet on my Twitter, but that was interesting. That just to pivot a little bit. If Claymore gets an anime now, I'm not going to say it was us, but the renewed interest this review series has brought to the wider community, we did it. Yeah,
it's clearly a pattern.
Congratulations. Yeah. Yes. Well, what will we do next? Vagabond? Are we going to get that thing a shitty anime? Who knows? Can we get Chainsaw Man's anime cancelled so I don't have to watch it? Anyway, unbelievable. I concur in these thoughts. I don't think it's any worse than what's happened before. I still thought the quality was really good. I still thought things were happening every chapter. I guess it's a little bit more action heavy. But I liked, like, the first arc I could see people complaining that it was a little slow. The stuff in Rabina is like a place near where I live.
The stuff with Galatea?
Yeah.
Oh, huh? The stuff in the Holy City, right? That's the one you're talking about?
The Holy City, that's right. Yes, that one.
Yes.
But I like that girl. She really was kind of cool.
That one. I really liked that arc. That was probably like one of my favorite parts to read. Besides, of course, like the big plot reveals. But I really like that arc because Galatea is the best.
That's kind of connected to that arc anyway.
Sure.
I don't know. I definitely liked all of it a lot. I would say it was just more of the same, where it's like, at this point, it's more me thinking, what is Claymore missing that's making it not a 10 out of 10 right now? More than I'm like, oh no, Claymore's like stumbling. It's definitely not stumbling in my opinion. I think I'll be very interested in how the ending comes off. I think with a good ending, it could push its way up there. And the ending's sort of taking shape. I think what's most interesting about Claymore, and it kind of is similar to Full Metal Alchemist to me a little bit. Now, I read Full Metal Alchemist like 5 years ago, so my memory is hazy and I didn't like it. So it's not like it lives rent-free in my brain. Or maybe it does, and I'm being haunted, and I do actually like it, et cetera, et cetera. But there's like a lot of pieces, and especially when you're in like the middle or like the middle of the second act coming to the end of the second act, you're trying to figure out like how everything's going to like where are we going to end here? Like which parts are the most important? Which parts are going to be like dealt with before we even get to the third act and stuff? And I think the interesting part about Claymore is that it really is twisty and turny in that regard of like, Islay's dead. Refil's probably going to be dead in the next volume, almost certainly, I think. Yeah. All of the Abyss guys, like they were just like middle players. They weren't endgame players. The endgame players, as we understand them now, are probably the twins and Priscilla, which is interesting. Because I remember when the twins were starting to get introduced, I'm like, do we really need another element here? And it's like, we've got like 3 or 4 big bads going on. But like the others make way for it, and I think it is interesting at this point. I don't know if it's a concern. I guess I said at the beginning we shouldn't do predictions, but I guess that's what I'm fucking doing.
I feel like it's hard not to.
Yeah. I think where we're headed is the twins are the bad guy, and we're probably going to have to team up against them. Which will get Claire and Raki on the same team, but then we have to deal with the Claire-Priscilla conversation.
Well,
I think
to
that's
be clear,
probably where we're going.
2 pairs of twins here. You're talking about Raffaella, not
Yes,
Beth and
yes.
Elise. Okay.
Not the warrior twins, not Beth and Alicia.
It is interesting
they're
though.
pretty clearly a step below in the power scaling.
Yeah, I guess
Which
based
is
on what's
interesting.
happening literally right now, yeah, it does seem like it.
They could get a power up. I don't know. I think that probably leads to the most interesting outcome of like, well, then Claire has to go to the organization and they have to have a conversation or something. And maybe they all have to team up reluctantly. It is another like teaming up ending. And if that happens, my goodness, is this Isayama guy a hack because he's stolen everything? That is all very funny. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's crazy that I hadn't been spoiled to that, especially how much I
Right?
used to yap about the Attack on Titan ending and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the most interesting aspect of Claymore, I think besides the unpredictability sometimes, is because there's a part in the very first fight where Reefel is fighting like the new Claymores. There's like a part where I was like sure the new Claymores were going to be so powerful or something that they were going to
Yeah, me
beat her.
too.
Like there was like one chapter where I was like, because she was so arrogant and she was winning so early on, where I was like, well, I know how these silly narratives work. You're
Yep.
about to get like your comeuppance for this silly lady. And I was like, oh, are they gonna like actually win? Which would seem crazy. That didn't happen. But the fact that I bought that at all, I guess it kind of plays. I guess it's a part of the strength is that it doesn't have a clear bad guy, or like
Yeah.
final bad guy, where it's like I don't know who's a final bad guy in something. Now I can't think of a single example. I don't know. Ace isn't going to beat Blackbeard, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's something like that, and like nobody's going to be. Well, Blackbeard's not even a good example because he's clearly not as strong as everybody else. That like he's. Anyway, I'm sure there's an example out there somewhere. Because even Naruto like invents its final villains like three or four times over, so that's not even a good example. And DBZ comes up with its villains every arc. Anyway, there's some sort of story out there where there's a final villain that's introduced very early, and it's pretty obvious whenever they have a fight with somebody that they're not going to lose, and there's not really a lot of tension there in terms of what the outcome's going to be.
Like, did you watch JoJo? I forget.
No, I haven't seen any JoJo anything.
Okay, well, JoJo Part 4, the antagonist, like the main antagonist, gets introduced around halfway through, and then there's like a couple arcs where you're following him, and he's like in fights with people that aren't the protagonists, and it's still good. It's still fun to watch, but you know he's not gonna lose. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
There's no one in this story that feels like that, where they're not potentially disposable next chapter. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I thought Isley would last much longer. So that kind of really shook the boat for me.
Example. Yeah. And even then, like if they were to beat the twins, as in the big monster twins at the moment, they could have to gang up and beat them like right now. That's possible. And then we deal with stuff afterwards. I don't know. It is unpredictable in that sort of sense of like, what does the final battle look like? There is a possibility that the final battle is on another continent in a fucking war scenario. Yeah, I guess the unpredictability there, and we're always showing up with different sides, and you're not entirely sure who the strongest is or where the twist is going to come. I think it's very engaging, and I've commented on this, I think, in basically every part, where Claymore is a very engaging read. It doesn't feel like a chore at all, and that's probably part of it, because it's like what's going to happen next is a very big draw. And I've read some mangas where that wasn't always the draw and it's a little slower, so that's appreciative. I guess I also, in my overall thoughts thing here, I have pointed out that probably its biggest weakness in so as it not being a 10, because this isn't an actual weakness overall for the series, is I think the characters and the best characters are missing a little bit to like drive them into like a favorites list or something.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the problem. Like, I like all the characters. I think I like literally all the characters. I don't think there's one that's like annoying. I guess Clarence is a little annoying or whatever, a little bit. But outside of that, they're all cool. Sure I'm not
Clarence.
bored when any of them are on screen. But like Claire is still probably my favorite. And the fact that I don't have like a big favorite, I guess the only other one is still Teresa.
I think Galatea had a great showing. I loved Galatea in this volume. Galatea with the no eyes now. Yeah. I think she pops up. Whatever, man. I thought she was
No, I
awesome
could
this
see.
volume.
Um,
Well, I think that's exactly the thing. I feel like besides Claire, all the ones that could potentially be like my favorites here really don't have that much time and focus to like
see, I don't even think it's
really
that.
top the
I
charts.
think they do.
That's how it is for me, at least. Go
Like,
for
I
it.
feel like Deneve and Helen get more than I was ever expecting them to do. I think
That's
Mariah
true.
gets a lot of focus. I think Galatier in that arc got a lot of focus. Even Clarence and Miata or whatever her name is. Like, I feel like all the characters get probably more than I was expecting. But I don't even think that's it. I think it's like almost like a personality thing. I don't know.
Is
I
it
don't
like
think
a
it's like a
level of
focus or
charisma, you think?
perhaps. But even then, like when Claire's being silent and being stupid, it's like she's the coolest. I think there's a lot of cool factor in the designs. Like, I don't know, the twins when they came out and they were all like, then they were like hugging. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But even then, it's like, I don't know. Well, where is the Askeladd or even the Thorfinn or like the Garm or there was a Garm? Oh my goodness, there was a Garm at some point. Did you notice that? There was a character named Garm.
Yeah.
It wasn't very important, but I said that's Vinland Saga now. Or like Vinland Saga had characters with that sort of charisma, Thorkel or something. I don't know. It's not. It's like the difference between like an 8 and a 10. It's not like a big difference where you're gonna make a video essay about the Claymore characters like cool, and that's why the series sucks. It's like I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint why it doesn't resonate or transcend or something like that.
Yeah, I want to be able to detail it, but I totally agree. Now that you mention it, like I can't think of a character that really is like. I can definitely think of favorites for Claymore, but what's that like kind of X factor?
I feel like everybody's in A tier.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a bad thing, maybe, or a slight issue.
I wonder if it's like for some it could be charisma, like they just don't kind of command the scene in the way that you would hope for, and then I feel like there's others where the kind of depth that I like them to is kind of a bit shallow. It's just like they have cool moments. They're just cool. And
yeah, but
I don't
really
have much
really
to talk
susceptible to that.
I know, like, that's like your favorite thing.
That's character ever.
Yeah. That's why I'm confused for you. I can think of my reasons, but I have no idea how to mesh them with your reasons.
But in the end, we ended up here together. Can you believe it? I mean, we've still got time. I don't know if I'm getting many new characters introduced, though.
I wonder if it's because characters don't really... I haven't... Not that I can think of, at least. Characters doing things that kind of... I don't expect them to do. Or things that, like, really, like, take me back. Like, the world does things to characters that I don't expect, and that's cool. Like the organization taking down Isley is insane. But, like, I don't know. Everybody is very... very defined, and when they do something unexpected, it's just kind of like, well, I expect them to do something cool, so they're doing that. And I feel like there isn't really like a big oh shit moment that makes me rethink how I look at these characters.
Yes, that is a very good point, because it is like the characters are very rigid. They're very good. And, like, even the way they react to things, I really like. And I'm big on reactions and how characters react to things. That's, like, a big thing for me. And they usually always get it right. Like, Rufal is reacting the way I want her to react to most of these situations, and it's really cool. And she's not being, like, sprinted over so we can get to the next bad thing. The point... Now, I remember we talked about this a little bit, and the biggest example for, like, the positive of what you're saying Claymore is missing is, like, Black Sails, where, like, characters will do crazy things, they will say unexpected things, they will end up in incredibly unexpected positions, and they will end up alliancing with, like, characters you don't expect at all. And that is a great part of that show, I think. And Claymore very much doesn't have that. It very... Like, the closest thing I can think of is when the... what's her name? It's Diet Rich when she follows the girls and like, oh, let's pretend you kidnapped me. Like, that is like the closest we get to like a character doing
and I guess
a thing.
What's his name? Dude from the organization being a spy, also kind of.
That's true, but even then, it's like
I don't care about him.
Twist, and it feels plot thing.
He's not exactly
It's
like a
interesting.
character
I know
to
he's
me.
gonna get caught, and it's gonna be a sad moment. I think I can just see it. And I think then I would probably care a little bit and be like, no, don't beat up our cool guy. You know, somebody's gonna punch him, his hat's gonna fall off, and he's gonna get thrown in jail. That's what's gonna happen.
What a tragedy! He gets punched once, his hat falls off, and Claire's gonna go crazy when she hears about that hat.
That's true. He raised her or something, he said.
Yeah, apparently. Have we seen much of that? Like, him being like a mentor figure?
He was there.
That's
like,
yeah, I guess, did she come to him with the head?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
And that's like the first time in chronology we see him.
I feel like there is something missing so far with Claire's backstory. I feel like we need to see more for me to care about that. Because I don't care about that guy. When we got the little Claire extra chapter, that was good, I guess. But I was surprised it didn't like show that the Claymore friend that she had to kill.
Was that not her?
That was not her.
It's
no,
probably her.
I went back and checked. It wasn't.
I was like,
I was so sure it had to be, because why would you do this extra chapter and show Claire's past and not show this character she was supposed to be so close with? And it was not her, unless I'm mistaken, and someone in the comments can yell at me. But I went back and checked, and I was kind of surprised.
It was interesting because I remember
I think that must be coming.
That is possible. The other thing is, like, I was so certain that was a mistake in, like, when we did that in chapter 4. I'm like, her best friend shouldn't have died in chapter 4, and it shouldn't have been tied to her backstory because you're limiting, like, yourself. I feel like that's like a big mistake that, like, maybe that's never going to be addressed, and it'll be like, well, that was kind of weird. And especially on a rewatch, it would probably even be worse because you're like, shouldn't something have been done here or something? It feels weird. I don't know. We'll see if it actually is done. But I definitely just assumed that girl was that, and that was all we were going to get. And it's like, but don't worry, I believe you.
It does seem like that was just kind of intended to establish the what was it called? The black card, right? The request to come kill someone, it's because like that plot device has been used quite a few times since then. So I guess they just wanted to introduce the concept, and maybe the character herself isn't very important. But I don't think she's important, but I feel like there must be more to Claire's background for us to see, especially if we're supposed to care about her mentor guy.
I don't know if we're supposed to care that much. It's just like, I think it's a thing where even like any character from the beginning is going to like ingratiate themselves to you a little bit, especially by the end, I think. It's like, oh, it's that guy. And it's like, oh, yeah, that guy. I think might be the extent of it. I'm not sure. But we'll see. I think that's all I had written out for this overall section.
No.
There's also some power creep that has led to some surprising quick exit, mostly with Islay and assumingly with a refill. Confirmation that that's true. We didn't know this until this part, but Priscilla is like the strongest one ever strong. And the twins seem to be like a rival to her, because she even has a moment where she senses the twins awakening.
Yeah.
But in that extra chapter, we do see, because we had that stated to us before, but because of like her and Islay's relationship, it seemed like maybe that was like false reporting or something, that he like had bowed down to her because she was so strong. But that is indeed what happened. We saw our great lion guy again, our favorite guy, and Priscilla beat up both of them effortlessly. So she is the strongest.
By the way, I did go and check that the inner cover of that volume. That is totally refill. I don't know how I missed that. I think I heard your take after getting a glimpse at it. You had a glimpse.
Yeah.
And I took that and I saw that and I'm like, dude, that's Chad Racky, and then I moved on. And then we still got Chad Racky, which is hilarious. The fact that had nothing to do with it, and it still happened.
But it just fit so well. He's gonna kiss Claire. Get over it, Mia.
I know. The second I saw him, and I was like, dude, this is the author's self-insert who's going to kiss Claire. That's totally what this is.
I don't know about that. He's definitely gonna be kissing.
It's kind of crazy though what he's able to do with just a sword, and he's not awakened. He has none of that going on. He's just a guy with a sword, and he's kind of popping off. It's crazy.
They do kind of say that at some point where they're like, there's exposition at some point. They're like, oh, a few humans could probably kill a normal Yoma or something. Because like, I don't remember when that's said. I don't think it's connected to the Raki thing, but it's at some point in the exposition. It might be in Mariah's
Yeah.
thing where it's like, yeah.
I think it's when they were
she's like
explaining
speculating
why the Yoma like
Yeah.
hide instead of just going and killing people.
Yeah. Let's talk about the reveal stuff, shall we?
Sure.
They're on an island. Isayama's a hack.
Yeah, so I gotta check. I forgot to look this up beforehand, but was this before the Attack on Titan basement reveal?
Way before.
That is crazy to me. That's insane. I feel like this.
It's insane
now
that
it's
I've
very
never heard
clear.
of it.
Yeah, true.
Yes, it's
Well,
not. It's not like the rest of it is not that similar. But it is like the most celebrated twist in Attack on Titan. And of course, it's not just that they're on an island in Attack on Titan. It's like the Grusha stuff that comes with it, and the understanding that like the outside world is more technologically advanced when you expected them not to be, and all this stuff. And it's not actually a bad thing. Like, things copy each other all the time. It is just, I think it's very funny, especially that I didn't know about this. And because people do compare Claymore to Attack on Titan a lot. And I think Isayama has said the Claymore thing. I remember this from like the partial reread I did a few years ago, but at the end of like the first 2 volumes, there's a bunch of interviews with Isayama in Attack on Titan. And he does talk about like his influences, and he does mention Berserk, and I'm pretty sure he says Claymore in there. Though I will go back and check because I'm supposed to be rereading Attack on Titan, even though I haven't been. But yes, cool, strong girls and fucking people that eat people and stuff like that. And the island twists, my goodness gracious me, man. Should we sue him?
Yeah. I'm wondering why. So I assume you feel the same way, that this twist was cool, but it doesn't really change my perspective on the story much at all.
I think it does. I think it's cool. I think I'm just almost certain it's not gonna matter that much. I don't think we're going to this continent. Which is interesting because obviously Attack on Titan is the setup for like we're going over there. Like, that's the main focal point of the end of the story. Like, I feel like we're not really going to like have to choose a side in this war or something. If anything, our hat guy's not going to die because he's going to have to like resolve that by saying, and I'm going to go over and tell him that we've dismantled the thingy and we don't have to worry about this. And Claire will be, don't ever come back, and everything will be peaceful over here in the realm or something. It is cool, and we had speculated that they were the ones that invented the Yoma or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, the imagery of she went to this like this untouched mountain valley like town or village or whatever, and they had never heard of Yoma, but they knew about the thingy over. Like, that's all really cool. It's definitely not like, it's not the level of importance that the Attack on Titan reveal was.
True. Yeah, I guess by design, it's not meant to be as. I don't know, it feels like it should have more impact to me. I mean, maybe it's because it's kind of tied to the organization being not good, which we kind of heavily anticipated. Whereas Attack on Titan,
it's already sort of
kind of
confirmed
like,
in the northern stuff. So it is sort of like secondary confirmation there.
Good point. Yeah, we
I know, it's kind of
yeah. In text already knew that the organization was not cool. But I mean, I guess
I think it's more.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's just more backstory stuff than anything else. And for backstory, it is really cool. I don't think it's gonna have that much impact though, which is kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah, I guess I think another thing for me is that I don't feel like Claymore does a fantastic job at feeling like a realized world. Like, I feel like the world itself was already kind of this amalgamation of like plains, forests, and towns and mountains, and it doesn't feel like a place that's kind of actually exists. So when you tell me that there's more outside of it, I don't even know what the bounds were to begin with, besides the fact that like it's an island, I guess. But I feel like there isn't a lot of substance that like makes an expansion feel significant. It just kind of feels like you've drawn a bigger circle, and I don't really have a strong sense for where the bounds were already to really care how big that circle is. I get that's, and I guess yeah, go for it.
Well, I was just gonna say for the Attack on Titan thing that like the outside world is such a big thing that's built up for so long.
True.
In like speculation and stuff. So that's probably why that hits more at home. I guess we had talked about this previously too, about how there was a distinct lack of establishing shots whenever we got to cities or towns a lot. And it felt like an art like cover up sort of thing of like, well, we don't have time to fucking draw the whole thing, so fuck it. Now, when we went back to the Holy City this time, there was a bit of an establishing shot. It was kind of underwhelming when I found out it was the Holy City, because the city did seem a little small. But that like, and the map being so like, well, the north is the snowy part, and like we don't, maybe if we had seen like a world map or something, it would have, like at the beginning of every volume there was a world map, and then at the beginning of the next volume after you found this out, there was a world map, and like the original map we saw was small on the page and there was this big continent there or something. Maybe that would hit harder or something like that.
Hunter style.
The world isn't as pre-established, and there aren't like a lot of like landmark places, I guess. Like it truly just is villages and the environments in between, besides the Holy City.
Well, I guess the implication is that they're kind of restricted by the existence of Yoma. So then, like, these villages they're dotting the place because people can't really come together to that extent. At least, obviously, the organization can, but the average person, maybe that's the idea, perhaps.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's a big deal, but it is like sure. I guess there's another thing we've kind of hit on before, is that like it seems like the fundamental original idea was a little bit underbaked, and like that we have come into a bunch of very ambitious ideas, and they struggle a little bit fitting into the sort of original thing, which the original idea seemed to be girl travels around and fights monsters, and we've sort of developed into a much larger plot that is very interesting and is the best part of the story. But maybe we should have started in a slightly different place or something then. It is so interesting that, to me, Berserk doesn't have this issue at all. When clearly, like, they have the same beginning. But I guess Berserk never really tries to have a worldly plot, or at least, like, Guts isn't, like, it does, but it's the Griffith plotline, and it's, like, completely separate from Guts, like, 95% of the time. I don't know, it is interesting. I guess even in Berserk, there's a lot more, like, landmark places that you're like, oh, this is like, you can understand the difference in location and stuff. And like, we got to the beach at some point, and we're in the ocean forever, and we're on different islands over here, and different holy cities and stuff like that. It seems like it was more ripe to be fleshed out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with Berserk, I actually kind of have a similar feeling where I don't really believe in the world, but I think I believe more in the kind of connective tissue between these different locales in Berserk than I do in Claymore. Like in Claymore, the kind of the approach of coming to a new location is kind of like, it's very whatever. It's just a very
the location is not a standout
setting. It might stand out a little bit more when you're actually in these cities, but barely. Like all I can really think is that the Holy City stands out because of like their anti Claymore issues, which has
and there's
improved since last, but
that
makes it stand out. But like, I don't think I can name a distinct thing about any other location besides perhaps like,
well, there's the snowy place
layer, and then there's the same towns, but they're covered in snow, and maybe that's it, I guess, where I feel like the substance of what we already have doesn't really lend a lot to me, like, I guess, wondering about the world. So when you tell me it's bigger, I'm not really that impressed with it. It's still good. I feel bad that we've been complaining about Claymore this whole time. It's still like, good.
I guess it's a compliment to the series that it really is devolving into a what is it missing and why don't we love it even more conversation.
Yes,
On that
agreed.
thing, I guess there is because there has constantly because there is no world map in any Berserk anything. That's like a massive thing that people want. And especially because it seems to be teased a bunch where we are referencing like I think oh my god, I'm losing my Berserk knowledge. Roderick, Varnice's fiance. At some point, he's like going through all the Isidro goes through all the flags at some point, but at some point he's like, and this galley is from the thingy in the east. And it's like he's listing off a bunch of things where clearly this is kind of thought out, and you could make a mental map. And there's also the one shot in Berserk that's really cool, which is from the moon, as we see like Fantasia envelop the globe, and like you kind of see continents a little bit, or like one or two continents, and you're like, oh my god, can we see the world map from here? Whereas like in Berserk, the fact that there's so many little locations, like you want to know like how it all is supposed to come together, and a world map for Berserk would be an exciting moment in the fandom or something. I feel like in Claymore, there's like we don't need a map. In the middle is the Holy City, and then each one has a territory, and to the east there's the fucked up organization place, and that's it. Like, there's no need. There's nothing really interesting on the map, it seems. Even the environments don't seem that different. The north is snowy. Everywhere else is kind of like plains and forests.
Yeah. Maybe it'll matter.
I guess
more
the beginning was like a
later.
desert.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like kind of mountains. A little drier. Yeah, maybe that's like the south.
Yeah.
The south is more like that. No. Didn't Isley say like the south is like whatever? He described the south as being this very like kind of beautiful organic place, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
I think that might have just been in comparison to like snowy north.
That's a good point. Very, very true. Maybe this stuff will matter more when the characters actually learn about the outside world a bit more directly. Then because right now they just kind of have they have Mariah's explanation and suspicions, really. So, and I guess it's been pretty much confirmed by what's his name from the organization, by Hat Guy.
Rubel, I think his name is.
Rubel, thank you.
Yeah.
So
I'm also not certain we're going to get any more about the outside world. So
I feel like I mean it must. I feel like it must get resolved or at least touched on again. I could definitely see an ending where like it's meant to feel open-ended, like the world goes on, kind of thing. So.
Or it's some old school Japanese isolationism. We don't got to worry about what's going over here. We got our little island and we're chilling.
Honestly, maybe it does go that way. I guess, yeah. I definitely don't think we're gonna have like, I don't know how many chapters. We have about 60 chapters from here. So is 60 chapters enough to go to an outside world? Which we're not even. It doesn't even feel like we're close to being done with the island. So yeah, I think you're right that we're probably not going there. We're probably not doing anything there. But maybe we will have influence on it somehow. Maybe the island is more important than we realize. Or something like that. Yeah. But I think you're right that we're probably not going there. Because there is just too much to do here. But who knows? Maybe all the fans are begging for Claymore 2.
Yes, maybe. There is a possibility that like one of the dragon warrior thingies come over here. I could see that happening.
Could see that happening. Well, surely we have to fight one soon. At some point.
Yeah. Rubel's going to transform into one. It's going to be crazy. Then you'll care about this hat idiot. Maybe.
Good point. Yeah, he is a spy for the other. That's a good point. That'd be hilarious.
Final fight, Claire versus this guy. My goodness.
That would be so underwhelming.
Don't worry, he's behind everything. But true, we love Claymore here. I don't know why Mir complaining so much. My goodness,
because I want to like it even more. I truly do. Well, you're the one who brought up the 8 out of 10, and that just resonates very hard.
But true.
I don't know. I feel like last volume was a 9. All the stuff in the north, that was a 9. But we're also building up again.
I don't think it went down.
You think? I mean, it's kind of, I feel, the natural highs and lows of a story. Like we just had the climax of like kind of the halfway point of the story. At least it feels like it. It was definitely a climax, and we're kind of building back up again.
Act 1 over.
Definitely.
And I guess this upcoming battle that we've kind of stopped in the middle of is probably Act 2 over. So, it is true that the when the lion showed up, that's definitely like the tension high point of the series. I think that's probably the best the series was. He was killing those girls, and Mariah was gonna die, and then Claire saved her, and that was crazy. I guess the closest we get is I was like accepting that Helen and Deneve, I think I got it right that time.
Yes.
I was pretty sure they were dead when they were fighting.
Me too.
But they got out of it, which I was happy with. So, do we really have anybody die this time?
Besides Isley? Not really. Nothing major that I can think of.
None of our girls. Oh.
I thought
still dying.
Galatea was gonna go. I thought Galatea was gonna get got.
That's true. I definitely
it felt
thought
like
that
the right
too.
time, but nope, because she's just too cool.
She's pretty cool. I think it's like the very beginning of the next arc, like the whole next part, because Mariah has been very intentionally left out of like most of this portion. The next one is going to be all about her, and she's fucking dying at the end of it. I guarantee it. I
do think she has some of the biggest death flags. She's too cool.
It's true, and we're going to be so sad when she dies.
You know who isn't going to die ever? Helen. She is going to be funny and last the whole time.
They either die together or they never die.
What, her and Deneve?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Deneve dying. I feel like she has it written all over her. Helen is simply too funny.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, they both tried to sacrifice themselves, and they would not let it happen. I think...
I feel like...
Well, go for it.
Well, we're definitely, like, the three of them are definitely touching swords over Mariah's grave. That's 1,000,000,000% happening.
What about Uma? What about Uma and Cynthia?
Yeah, do the three get to be in the sword touching? Get out of here. You three didn't earn it.
Yeah. Uma really did nothing this time. I was really disappointed.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? She's kind of useless.
Yeah, I thought she would have. Well, I think she had a moment during like the Holy City arc when they first started fighting again, but she got messed up with her leg.
Yeah, her leg got cut off, but she's gonna. She's still around for this little fight here. She'll have one moment where she catches Claire as she's fallen or something.
Yeah, I'd like to see her pop off, but she kind of felt like she was the only one that actually kind of felt like a detriment this time, which was surprising. I thought they would have amped her up a bit more after the North.
Yeah,
but you're right, though. That's the point. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I like her though. I actually really like our main group. I didn't really care for them that much before, besides like Mariah. But like I really liked Helen and Deneve together. I think they were funny. I like that they have like a healer with Cynthia. That's cool. And I want Uma to pop off. So I'm pretty invested in all of them. I'm glad about that. They don't feel like they blend together anymore in the way a lot of the Claymores did in, I guess, what we're calling Act 1.
Climax, yeah. I will say whenever a new one's introduced now, they do have a very distinct look. They're not looking similar now. What's the other one's name? The seventh one, the one that's still with Mariah in the city. Oh. I feel like she's got the least so far, so maybe when Mariah gets more
Veronica, right?
Sounds like it. I'll go with it.
It was a V. Hold on, I have it written down. Yes.
I'm putting my money on Veranda.
Dead. Veronica died.
That does sound right. I feel like Veronica was one of the captains.
Tabitha. That's who it was.
Tabitha. Not the best name, I'll say that much. No offense to any Tabithas.
I believe Tabitha is their tracker, right? She's the one who is really good at reading Yoma energy, if I remember correctly.
Perhaps.
There's a couple characters
like
who are like the readers, yeah.
Yes. Diet Rich is a reader.
Diet Rich.
That's why Rufel wanted him. oh my goodness, she was hanging just like the great Jean was. It was terrifying. We don't like this dwarf guy. And until
Yeah.
he's getting beaten up, then it's our poor dwarf guy. He's just a big idiot. Don't hurt him.
I still am amazed of how, like, on the power scaling, he's, like, pretty good. He continues to be pretty good. It's great. True. He's not, like, the strongest guy ever, but his armor, he continues to just be like, you can't break my armor. Yeah, I guess.
But Alicia cut through it very easily.
True, so we still have a ways to go.
Way stronger.
Claire
she's a definitive number 3 on the power scale.
True.
What'd you say?
Claire kind of did this time, right? She struggled a bit, but then all of a sudden she locked in. With the she just pulls out her techniques now and locks in. But actually no, she pulled out the same technique that worked on him last time, right? Is that what happened?
Well, then because all of her abilities kind of blend together in my head besides transforming, but she, especially with the fight against who we're calling Raftelia now, she couldn't beat her with the cutting one that lets you cut through whatever you like, not cut things you don't want to cut and cut through the stuff you want to cut through.
Right.
Then she has the former number 2's ability, which is like something she isn't using all the time, which she used on Raftelia to beat her. Now, I don't think she's ever used that on Dorf, or maybe she did in the dungeon. I think if we're doing great power scaling videos right now, I think a full-out fight between Claire and Dorf at this point would be an interesting power scaling little conundrum. Because I think probably Claire would win. Like, obviously, if she transformed, she'd win. It would just be a matter of her trying to come back, because she beat the guy that was already ahead of Dorf in the old army or whatever when she transformed. But she also needs the great Jean to pull her back. It is interesting. I guess she wasn't really in too intense of a fight. That's probably what's going to happen in this, in the fight we're currently in. That she hasn't had to transform again. I still think her final form is probably she transforms and can go back at will or whatever. Do you think that's why Raftelia or whatever is inside her? Or who's inside her? Is it her?
No, she's more inside. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who's inside who at this point.
Because, that's right. There's like a mystery where she needs to be told something, but she has to find it in Raftelia's memories. And we haven't got that resolved yet. But also it's clear that Teresa has some semblance of will inside her too, because she's drawing her. She's like, I don't know why I'm being drawn to want to meet Raftelia or whatever. And I think it's supposed to be Teresa had a relationship with her, and Teresa's flesh is inside her. So subconsciously on some level, she's driving her to that. And I think we might get another reveal of, just because in the Teresa backstory extra scene or whatever, she was way too strong for normal awakened whatevers. She was beating them in one stroke or whatever. So she's definitely super strong. And I think the secret to her strength or something, I think Claire will have to fight her in her little mind thingy. And that'll probably be another moment where she figures out some power. I think maybe that might be the secret to her being able to switch backwards and forth between her awakened form is Teresa brought her back. It's an internal power or something. I'm not certain.
I can see that.
How did I start that monologue? I don't remember. I think I was making a point and went on a...
but being able to beat what's his name?
Oh, the great Dorf. He's undefeatable.
Yes.
Undefeatable. Did you at all look at the volume cover for the next one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, do you want to know what it is? It's not a spoiler. It's
I may have actually clicked ahead to that one already, just because I was looking at.
Because it's Dorf and Riefel on it, and it's they're cover. Definitely both dead, 100% in this volume, right? I think they're gonna have a sad little they love each other so much as they're dying moment or something like that, because they are saving each other and trying to sacrifice each other. I think you've never read Devilman, right?
No, I have not.
There's a very similar sort of moment in the end of the first big fight in Devilman where it's kind of like that, where it's these two evil guys. They kind of love each other and are nice to each other, and oh my goodness, and now they're gonna fucking die. It's a little moment. I think we're gonna have that exact moment with these two, and it is gonna be sad. I think.
I think so too. Honestly, I think Riefel's probably my favorite of the antagonistic characters that I can think
Yeah,
of. I didn't really care for Isley. I thought he would be a bigger deal later, and that more would happen that would make me care more about
yeah.
him. But the fact, I guess the fact that that didn't happen is just what was so shocking about his death. But with Riefel, I feel like she has so much charisma. It would be a bummer to be without her.
Yeah. The most interesting thing about Isley, I think, is the that he was like so mean to Claire and Helen. Not Claire and Helen, Helen and Deneve. Where he's like, oh, these filthy fucking warriors, and he's like attacked them. It's like we hadn't seen him be so mean, I don't think. And
Yeah,
that was like interesting.
yeah, I was so intrigued. I wanted to know more about why he was kind of
Yes.
reacting that way, and I thought we were seeing a new side of him that was going to get more context, but kind of, I mean, maybe it will get more context, but not by his hand.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe in some Raki flashback or something.
it's fucking racky.
The it was. Yeah, because initially when he like walked through, I was like, "Oh, is this another new character? Is this like the demon or something she's referring to?" Diet Rich was referring to, um, but no, it was Isley, and it was interesting. I think an interesting thing about Rufal is like you kind of understand that she's very clearly not being positioned as a super big player in the grand scheme of things. So you
Yeah.
kind of root for her because you know she's definitely going to die. So
Yeah.
I found myself like being even when she was fighting those initial claymores at the very beginning of the chapters we read, I'm like, don't let the great Rufal die to these losers.
Yeah,
I was like
yeah.
on her side. I was like, no, she's like cool and stuff. Don't ride her out this way. I would be so sad. And I feel like I've seen stories do that where like a character that's a super big like villain of an earlier arc comes back like an arc later, and like the new villains or whatever, or like there's a time skip and the new generation just mop the floor with them, and they look like a piece of shit on the ground, and now we've got new people to interact with and to try to beat up or whatever. I feel like Naruto does this quite a bit, and I was like, no, don't do that to Riefel. And I think the ultimate twist would be like if she actually was the main bad guy or something, and she like her plans all did come off. That's almost certainly 100% not happening. But there's a weird like, and it is like a weird meta like fighting against the story narrative that like is created through this, where you're like,
Yeah.
just through the underdog status of knowing that this, I guess this happens a lot with just like bad guys in general in like more like kiddie shows sometimes when you're like an older person watching it, where you're like, well, this guy's got 0.0000001 chance of winning this battle. So let's root for him a little bit. And like you pick apart like, oh, this is bullshit that Naruto's got a new power now. This guy should have won. Or something like that. It's a very funny little weird meta thing that's really only there for people who are like think about media too much or consume too much media. But the great Riefel, you know. Yeah, she's not dead yet, Mia. Say it ain't so.
When I think about it, she does have a lot of focus, and it kind of would be
true.
awesome if it was leading up to her, like if her plans actually did come to fruition, and she like was just ridiculously even more powerful. I think I'd really love that. Like I really like Riefel. I think of all the antagonists that I think of, besides Isley, she was getting a lot of focus. And I feel like when it comes to the organization and Priscilla and I guess Rafaela, these are all characters are, I guess, not objects, but I guess, I don't know. I'm not really invested in them as characters.
As bad guys,
as much as I'm invested in Riefel. And it would be really cool if it all kind of coalesced into her actually just going through with her plans that she's been trying to do this whole time. I don't think it's happening, but
it is an interesting. Yeah, probably not. It is an interesting thing of like all of the bad guys we're positioned to think is like potential final bad guys are like personality-less like monsters. Like Beth and Alicia have no personality. The other twins have no personality. They're a big monster. And then Priscilla is like this little girl, which could have personality, but we haven't really been fleshed out much. Now, obviously, I think we're probably going to, I don't know I don't know. The twins idea scares me a little bit of them being the final villain. I think it could lead to a bunch of cool character interactions before the final battle, but I think it probably leads to a final battle where we're cutting through a bunch of these monsters it creates.
Yeah.
And like then we have some sort of mental battle between the Raftalia and fucking Claire's mind and the Raftalia that's left
Yeah.
in the lack of a consciousness that this big monster has or something like that.
I think you're right that they are more like an event that is going to impact the world rather than an antagonist. Because I feel like they aren't like what I don't know. The Rafaela and Luciela, they kind of like only really start mattering at the end of the Battle in the North stuff, and then they're fused, and now we're here. It doesn't really feel like they've been built up at all or have any stake in anything as much as this is just an explosion of energy that everyone has to deal with. So I don't think they would be positioned there. I still think Priscilla obviously has more to be let on, especially trying to understand why she's kind of gone back to this childlike form. Yeah, she's reverted back.
Well, we kind of get an explanation of that, right?
We kind of do. But I'm sure there's more to talk about. Yeah, she is not. Yeah.
See, because, yeah, it just depends. Like, where is the emotionality? Is the emotionality in Claire having to fight Raki to try and kill Priscilla? Yeah, I guess. But then we're relying on the Raki-Claire relationship, which has only gotten strong, I think, in anticipation because they've been apart for so long and they've changed a lot. And it will be interesting to see them initially interact. But they were kind of boring when they were together. But even then, like, Claire and Priscilla don't have much of a relationship at all.
I guess that's kind of the point, though, because she does have this kind of one-track mind. I mean, she's very distracted right now, to be fair, but she is very focused on the idea of simply killing Priscilla. And if she does get to this point and Priscilla is, like, almost completely reverted back to being a human and would only become the monster she thinks she is if pushed to it, maybe, then Claire kind of has to choose to let go and let this kid exist. But I don't know. She's clearly still dangerous, so it's not like she's completely gone. But that was Rocky's plan, right? To just let her eventually be chill again.
Eat him? Yeah.
True, yeah. And if all goes wrong, then she can just eat him.
I think they definitely have to show up. Now, I hadn't thought about this until now, but they definitely show up in this battle, I think.
Yes. I think that's already been hinted at. They, like, Rocky
she did sense the thing happening.
True, yeah, she sensed it as well. Yeah, I think that's probably the right time. They should come together during, like,
the
a
end
very
of
hectic
Act
moment.
2 is definitely they meet each other again, but like it's only brief, and they split up and they have a disagreement. And Raki says, I got to look after Priscilla, like goodbye or something. And Claire's heartbroken or something. And I think so. And then it sort of resets.
I'm trying to think of a way for that to happen where I wouldn't find it a little corny.
No, they're in love. It's gonna be corny. Isn't it a shame that she didn't get to make out with her husband again? Mia, unbelievable.
So true. Yeah.
They didn't even interact much at all. This manga fell off. No words, you know?
I mean, because, like, so true. It truly... I think you're right. I maybe it's just that I am anticipating more than this set of chapters gave. So maybe I'm still kind of waiting for the next shoe to drop. I don't know. I do think
and we did stop in the middle.
Yeah, to be fair, that probably is the fault of where we chose the chapters, but I do get the sense that I don't even feel like this is end of Act 2 situation. I think it's kind of just continuing, and it's just going to keep going. It feels like we are kind of like in the thick of it now, But I don't know. This is the kind of story where that could change at any moment. I can't believe with Isley. I really didn't believe it.
No, I had seen, like, once it was happening, I was like, I buy it because we have, like, other things that are going on now. Like, I was like, oh, so it's the twins. Like, this is the direction we're going. Because it did feel like we have too many big players here. We've got to start getting rid of some of them. And obviously, Reeful is going to get rid of. And so it's like, it made sense to me that, like, oh, the Abyss is like, they're not actually the big guys. Like, there's a power level we're going above them, so they've got to, like, make way.
But what if this means Reeful's not gonna lose? Because hear me out. You introduce these Abyss, the Abyss Hunters, right?
Eaters?
Abyss Eaters. Yes, thank you. You introduce them. You have them take out Isley, who you expect so many things for, and then you're like, wow. I believe now that these things can kill anything that they're hunting. And now they're hunting Reeful? Oh my god. And that's how you subvert it, by having Reeful win. That's what... You take out Isley to set up...
I think she beats them, but then the girls, the warrior girls beat her. Like, cut her up.
Maybe. I wanted to win.
They definitely both, her and Dolph, have a moment where they, like, run away, but, like, the cool twins are like, we need not follow them. They're dead anyway. And then they, like, die in a little meadow, holding hands.
So right.
It's interesting because I think I just figured out, because I'm like, these Abyss feeders, I don't know how I feel about them. They're kind of boring, whatever. But I think obviously they're probably going to eat, like, part of Claire's finger or something, and they'll probably be chasing her after they beat this one or something. Or like, she has to transform in this final fight. One of her hooves gets knocked off. They get a part of that, and they're, like, chasing the hooves or something. Or maybe it's like the point where only if Claire transforms do they come and attack her. I'm not. No, well, they were after Isley even when he was in human form. I could see that happening.
He was hiding in the town in human form to evade them. And it was working for a while. And
he did start to transform when he had to fight Helene and...
Yes, exactly. So that probably is the case. That
they did keep finding him, right? That was also... So maybe they can sense him.
I guess I don't know. I don't know exactly. Because, I mean, he still managed
he was constantly getting in fights. Yeah. Well, he hadn't even healed from the last fight, so I don't think...
True. Yeah, I guess he was kind of still on the back foot. It was... Yeah, he probably was not there for that long. That's crazy. That is absurd.
Yeah, he was just pissed off. That's why he was mean to Helen and Denise.
That reminds me, because Raki mentioned... Well, no, Isley mentions that he drove Raki and Priscilla away, and that's why they're not with him anymore. Yeah, I wonder what he did, because it seemed to be.
I can tell if he was like, he told them to go, or did he, like, attack somebody or something?
Yeah, did he make them think they needed to, like, I don't know, did he put on an act to get them to leave themselves? Like, I feel like that's the implication when you say when he says drove them away.
Yeah.
So I guess he knew this was happening, or knew it was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he slightly accepted it, I guess. He does have a little monologue at the end about how he loved his little family he found, and he was sad, and he just wanted to spend time with them as he was getting eaten to death. Oh, we're going to get a great Reeful monologue like that. She's going to love her dumb boyfriend, and it's so sad.
Yeah, she's going to be in the process of getting eaten and be like, I just love my dumb boyfriend, and then she's going to die.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be our first 10 out of 10 character, is Reeful's death will settle it for us all. Yeah.
I feel like I feel like that's actually you bring that up as a joke, but when I'm thinking about it, I don't have many characters I'm really, because I feel like if you take out Reeful now too, I kind of really don't feel much for the future of, like, antagonists in the story, because I feel like so many of them are just this, like, big emotionless thing. Well, actually, no, because with Beth and Alicia,
something's gonna happen.
it definitely seems like something broke through right at the end here. I think it was with Beth. She seemed to be struggling, right?
Well, yeah, she got like impaled.
Well, yeah, I mean physically, obviously, but there seemed to be some kind of emotional opening there. What was it?
Huh.
It was she seemed to be struggling. Yeah, so she's like attacking Reeful. She's in her awakened form, and then she ends up attacking the abyss feeders instead. And Reeful's
That
like,
is true.
"What are you doing?" And then looks at her face, and she's like, kind of struggling. Half her face is like the awakened form, and the other half is her normal-ish face. You can see like her eye. There's clearly something. Okay. No, it's because no, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. That is exactly it. What is happening at the end?
They were talking a little bit more. There was something there. I think we'll definitely get a sad flashback with them, or because we kind of got it hinted at in Raftelia's backstory or whatever, right? Where it was like, oh, they took like twins from an actual family or something, which they didn't usually do. So I think in a moment of great tension, we'll probably get their flashback and care about them a little bit. I bet.
I'm trying to think what do I even think is happening here. The thing that like impaled her, it's growing a little face.
Well, yeah, they all like become awakened thingies, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
See, so we can have a big army we can cut through in the final battle against our amorphous, unemotional, godlike bad guy. Exciting, huh?
Oh, man, not Reeful. Well, now I kind of have no hope for Reeful. Oh, I'm so... No, she's too cool. She has to pop off. She has to.
She'll get... I think that'll happen. She'll get one moment where we think she's going to get eaten by these dumb creatures. She's going to do a big hair move. She's going to knock them all back or something, or kill the first round of them. And then she'll be like, oh, I won. Cut down the middle. The great twins are back. They healed or something. And then that's how she dies.
Do you think, this is a completely different topic. Do you think Rocky is going to get some kind of awakened power? I feel like he has to continue to be a player. Now that Isley's gone especially, I feel like he's got to take up the mantle. Is he part
dragon?
Oh.
I think that would probably be the better route to go, right? to
like ingrain him in the other side of this somehow. That would be weird.
Well, no, just so we can fight somebody with the other power.
Yeah, I guess so. Because right now I feel like
it's enough.
Yeah, you think?
It's enough to just have him stand between Priscilla and Claire, I think.
I guess. Yeah. I feel like I'm liking him more. Yeah, right? I'm definitely liking him more with this new dynamic of him being like the Chad Racky. I think it's funny. But I definitely don't... I feel like I have less investment in his dynamic with Claire the longer they're apart now. Like, it's gotten to the point where, like, the anticipation has kind of boiled over into... I don't know. Now I think of him as funny, big sword Racky, and less about him and Claire. So I feel like I'm less excited for that. But then again, I feel like it is kind of being implied that they will be reuniting here. So maybe it is just going to be, like, I don't know, perfect timing, right when I'm kind of starting to feel like they should come back together. If I'm going to care about this, they're going to come back together. Yeah, but I kind of want to just see more of him and Priscilla.
I'm excited to see them reunite.
Yeah. I think
the only other way, and I don't see this happening at all, is if like Claire dies or something and he gets her imparted in him or something for like the very, very end to like beat the last bad guy, whoever it is. just to mirror Claire and Teresa. He would be an eighth Yoma. I don't think that'll happen though.
Honestly, the more I think about it, I feel like we're in a position right now where if Licia and Beth are really like getting this messed up right now, we could literally like within the next set of like titled chapters, next like small arc, be kind of done with the island, because actually the more this goes on, the less loose ends there are in hindsight. Like Isley's done, Alicia and Beth low-key might be done. It might just be the organization after this. And
well, the organization has nothing without the girls, right? Well,
yeah,
feeders.
Exactly, because that's exactly it. Besides the feeders, this might take away all their other cards, and then you just have, I guess, Rafaela and Luciela. But like, what do you even? Are they just kind of going to ruin the island, and maybe we have to leave, and we might be done with the island within like 10 chapters, and then the back 50 of this whole story could be off the island? I feel like that is actually enough. Like I feel like I'm underestimating how fast we could actually be done, because I feel like so much is happening all together. Like if Reeful, the organization, Alicia, Beth, Rafaela, and Luciela are all kind of wrapped up into this one thing, then it is kind of just Raki Priscilla.
Yeah, I don't think Beth and Alicia will be done. I really don't think we're going to this continent.
I feel like, why would you introduce it? You don't have to go there. I feel like the author barely has a world that they've made here, never mind an outside world too. I feel like that's definitely asking too much of what the story's trying to accomplish. But in terms of bringing the threats home, I feel like that could be like, we could be in the process of kind of wiping the slate a bit and getting rid of the old, that, because that's kind of what it feels. If you're going to take out Isley like that, then clearly you're making way for something else.
The twins.
But like I feel like they don't really have, they really are just a force.
They're really strong, and we just met them, and they're going to have a bunch of other powers.
I guess. It just kind of feels like they are a force and not a
yeah,
real,
I think that's kind of, that might be what we're aiming for, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It might just be the point.
I mean, it's another kind of Attack on Titan thing, right? Eren was the guy, but like, you had to deal with all the rumbling to get there. There's so much emotional, there's so much weight behind that.
It is a lot
more.
It's a character arc. And rather, it feels like Rafaela was introduced, and
yeah, I don't think that she's gonna have anything to do with it. I think it's like an amorphous blob.
Okay. You're right. You're right. In terms of, not in terms of, I guess, significance, but in terms of what it does to the characters and how it aligns them. Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Because I think in the short term it leads to a lot of really cool character interactions that have to happen. I just think it's like an apocalypse story. Like, we got to stop the apocalypse, and it's like, oh, cool. I can root for him against the apocalypse monsters. I mean, but it's like less than if it was a cool bad guy.
What interactions do you feel like have to happen besides Raki, Priscilla, and Claire?
Well, Raki, Priscilla, Claire, and then I think Claire and the girls and the organization. I think that would be a cool one.
I feel like there's still probably hanging questions with Clarice, with like her. She doesn't have the white hair yet. She's kind of like this incomplete character.
Yeah, she probably does have some special purpose.
Yeah.
Whose daughter is she?
It would be hilarious if we just introduced this character who kind of sucks, and then she just never improves. She's just kind of this useless.
Well, yeah, she's kind of, like, that is possible. She is just Maita's keeper, or her mama.
Yeah, and she's implied to be much more like, she's implied to be extremely powerful, and I feel like I haven't been sold on it yet.
She could be number one if she had a brain.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. They're not involved with this at all unless they get brought out of the holy city to interact with this. But I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, not now. Probably in the final battle.
Yeah, and Mariah's not here yet, right? It is just we had
not yet.
Yeah, Helen and Eve meet up with Claire, Uma, and Cynthia. Yeah, they're definitely not very stacked well for this fight. Not having
Well, they've kind of
Mariah's
sectioned it
stuff.
off where they just have to deal with the army.
True, yeah.
Which Claire transforming would probably deal with all of them. Do you think that's how Mariah dies? She has to come in and pull her back or something? I don't know.
I do think
add to Claire's guilt.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If you're gonna, you're probably right on that one. I feel like
because I don't know, like, who else is gonna kill her? Like the twins, the warrior twins. It's not gonna be Reefel, I don't think.
I don't think it would be Reefel. No.
Priscilla would probably be a good like a rejuvenator for Claire's hatred.
Yeah, but then that would give Claire I feel like that would give her justification in a way that makes the conflict a little less interesting. Because if Rocky saw her,
speaking.
That's fair.
There is a possibility that Priscilla just comes in and kills the twins.
That would be insane, actually. That would be really crazy. Oh, but what if that totally is what happened? You know what?
Because then we just do Priscilla as the bad guy.
That feels too... It feels like we've already, I don't know. I feel like the story has already begged me to not think of her that way. I feel like the story has very clearly wanted to subvert the whole idea that Priscilla is the central... that killing her will do anything to solve the problem. But I don't know, maybe subvert the subversion, perhaps?
Well, I don't know. The story hasn't seemed to say anything about vengeance, really. It could just align where for the betterment, Claire doesn't really want to kill her anymore, but she has to, and she does it with more understanding than with vengeance. I could see that happening.
Well, I definitely don't think it's posing a moral question with it at all, because frankly,
not really.
There's it is kind of tied to a very a magic system in a way that isn't really relatable, I guess. But it more just wants to be interesting. You can't if you want to kill this thing that you've been hunting, you have to kill this child. Which dang, that blows.
So we're definitely going to be fighting it in its cool,
true
transformed form.
Yeah, I guess it has just been implied that she is the craziest thing ever. So what happens when you throw
that
her
shot of Renee almost figuring out what she was, and she has that very scared face, was really cool.
That was really cool.
But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, Renee is still here, I guess. She's supposed to be what? She's number 6, right? She's the new number 6.
Yeah, she's Mariah's number.
And I am not sold on her at all. But I guess she's just kind of got
to be sensory.
Yeah. Good point. But she's just kind of been put in really unfair situations. So maybe it is understandable that I'm not sold on her being that powerful.
But she looks cool.
She does look cool. But she just snuck away, right? She took she suppressed her Yoma energy, as many do, and ran away.
I think she's still around the battlefield, right? I don't actually remember.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll save Claire at the last moment or something. It was interesting because there is throughout it, I was wondering, so who's going to join the group? And obviously it seemed like Clarence and Galatier and Mitaya. I still haven't figured out that name. It seemed like they were all going to join, but then none of them really did. Galatier kind of does, but she's still in her cool maid outfit because sexy maids are cool. I love Black Lagoon. And the other two are staying Claymores.
She's in a nun outfit. She's not in a maid outfit.
Wait, that's what I meant. Nun outfit. There's a nun in Black Lagoon too, not a maid.
Oh,
well, there is a maid in Black Lagoon too. So, Could have been saying things. I'm talking about Edda, not Roberta from Black Lagoon. Let's get our facts straight here. She's a nun. Nuns are cool and sexy. Face it, Mia. And
Okay.
and then there was more where it's like, oh, the two, Renee and what's the other one that we were just talking about? Diet Rich.
Diet Rich. Yes.
Diet Rich. Are they gonna join? And then also there was the girls from the very beginning, who we never really saw again. But none of them really officially joined, which was interesting. They might after this. And I think they all will fight on the same side. Hopefully not against an army of amorphous, awakened little beings, but against Priscilla.
Yeah. I hope. I feel like it is. They have, by introducing the Abyss Feeders, I feel like they've kind of they've kind of divorced the organization from the characters that were associated with it. I guess like they have become like the weapon of the organization, and now the characters that were previously the weapon of the organization they can kind of come into their own a bit more, maybe. Which could be cool, at least. I feel like I could see that as the benefit of introducing these the Abyss Feeders, but yeah, right now, as cool of a gimmick as it is in how they took down Isley, especially, they kind of are not. They definitely take character out of the organization, which is a bummer. But I also don't really care about the organization, so I'm actually kind of okay with it. As long as the characters that get divorced from it get to do more by no longer being like representations of the organization.
I think it might just be like whenever the warrior twins show up, they'll have a few of them with them, and like it'll be how they keep up. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, right now they are killing like Alicia in her awakened form.
Has started killing them. That is true.
She started killing them. I don't know if that's just like her just like kind of just attacking anything around her, like because she's losing the connection to Beth because Beth got messed up.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like this is a very next chapter we'll find out thing.
Yeah,
we've been doing predictions all day.
Well, I guess because it is just intriguing. I feel like there's so many directions it can go, and this whole set of chapters kind of felt like it was all about setting up a different idea of what the future of the story is like.
Yeah, what the climax is going to be. Yeah. I guess to pivot out of it, I guess we should probably. I don't even know what the rest of my notes say, and there's not too many of them. So maybe we should go through our notes, and then we'll see if anything jumps out, and we can.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Do a little bit of final predictions, maybe. So let's see. What do I have written down here? The tension in this Creature of the Abyss versus 3 and 5 fight is crazy. What the fuck? Oh, this was just the Rufal thing at the very beginning. You wanted girl on girl, Claymore. Now we got titty sucking.
That was crazy. Huh? That was crazy. I was kind of shocked when I saw that. And again, you know what I was saying last time of like starting to feel the fact that this is a male author writing about women being cool and hot. That's what it feels like. And I was like, why are we doing this?
More. Yeah, like the first Awakening girl was naked all the time.
True.
I don't know. I didn't like. There wasn't a lot of sexualizing going on too much with the titty sucking. I thought it was more weird than meant to be sexy. But like when Claire reemerges naked from the Raftelia thing, that's a little sexy. I'm not gonna lie. So there's definitely a little bit of fan service, but it's not that bad.
I guess I don't read it as fan service. How do I read it? It's just like strange. I don't know. Because like
unnecessary.
I feel like you could have this character be attached to Clarice without going there, and it's like I think what makes it weird is that she kind of like forces it onto Clarice, and then Clarice like accepts it, and it is kind of like this implication of like because it's like a motherly thing to do, that Clarice kind of accepts it. Like, oh, I need to mother this random child that just ripped like my shirt off.
And, yeah.
I found that to feel kind of weird.
There's also the moment where like the organizations are like, how did you tame her so quickly? And she like blushes and says, oh, nothing. So that was that added to the weirdness a little bit too. But yeah, it was a bit crazy. My next notes are all about that first arc fight where it's like, oh my god, Claire's boyfriend is back. Having girls leave the organization so we can have different outfits is great. True, we got black outfits now. Crazy.
Yeah, they look good.
This blood girl is spectacular, please. That is true. It was very sexual, the way she was ripping apart these male soldiers and drinking their blood, etc., etc. I wonder if this is where the magazine shift happened. Oh, this is true, because at some point, Claymore switches magazines. And I wonder if, like, we're allowed to do nudity now because we switched magazines a little bit. And also, this seemed slightly more, like, sexually violent than it had been in the past. I have no idea, though. Bloody Agatha was her name, my goodness. Like Agatha Christie, that's got to be a reference, my goodness.
Yes.
We've got another three-way scenario and nudity I wrote down. My next note is Isam is a hack, Claymore Island twist. Then I have There's a Garm. Then I have the lady's reaction to shot of Priscilla is great. Oh my god, we already talked about all that. Death prediction, how brutal are we going to get? Everybody but Claire in the group is totally up to die. I guess those are different predictions we could do, but that's all of my notes. So if you have anything, any notes we should go over.
Let's see. What do you think of the extra chapters? I don't think we touched too much on them. The first was cool. This was the Teresa one.
Teresa had a friend that was jealous of her, and then she awakened because she was so jealous, and then Teresa beat her in one shot. I was like,
that was. I feel like the other ones felt like they were kind of ingrained into the story, whereas this one was just like it was Teresa being cool.
Teresa's really cool, brother.
And they're so right for that. They.
And that was valid.
And then I liked the Mariah one. I liked seeing Ophelia. I liked
because Ophelia was in it. Yeah.
Yes, Ophelia is. I miss her. I kind of wish she was like still around because she was cool. She's chaotic. She's such a freak.
She definitely would have been sent north. It would have been cool.
Yeah, I feel like none of the other
she would have been the leader.
True.
Instead of Mariah, she was, so that wouldn't have gone too well.
I feel like none of the other Claymores have the same level of chaos to them. I mean, I guess some of the new girls who were fighting Reeful had some kind of a little bit of that energy, but no one is as unhinged as Ophelia. And I kind of miss it.
Yeah, she was crazy. It's also interesting because the twist kind of makes her seem really stupid in retrospect, and I think that's like a good thing. Where it's like she's so obsessed with like killing Yoma, but she doesn't realize she's working for the organization that literally orchestrated all of this. Yeah, by like creating Yoma. It's like she was very like not seeing the forest for the trees over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool. The great Ophelia.
The end of this kind of reminded me of Berserk, like that one panel people love of like Guts remembering the Band of the Hawk then looking at his new companions. So it's cute. I wish Mariah had a little bit more to do in these chapters. She definitely just kind of retired for a little bit while we.
I think it's like she's gonna have a lot of focus going forward.
I think so. I'm glad it gave everyone else some time to shine. I'm sure the author realized, like, you can't cut out Claire, obviously. She's the main character. But everyone who wasn't Mariah kind of wanted a little bit more time to shine. And I think they all got it.
Yeah.
I guess Tabitha got kind of messed up by being stuck with Mariah. So she didn't really get time either. But I think we got a good amount of time with Cynthia. I really like her. She's definitely probably the least interesting, but I like her design a lot, and I like her abilities a lot. I think having a dedicated healer in the group is fun. They kind of feel like a JRPG party. But they're also a little they're still very homogenized in the way that they fight. I think they've done a great job making the characters feel distinct, but they're at the end of the day, they're all like big sword wielders, right? So there's only so much they can do to bring something unique to each fight. But I think their characters kind of make up for that. Especially Helen.
Yeah.
I think Helen was a kind of MVP for me in this volume, just in terms of getting me endeared to her character.
Yeah, I think that's probably why we pivoted into like kaiju battles as the thing, is like the swords. There's only so much you can do, I think.
Yeah, you're totally right about that.
Like, is there a single manga that's like the sword fights are like the only thing? I guess Vinland Saga, right? But even then we got knives and axes. And
I guess
stuff.
so.
Like Berserk pivots into kaiju battles too.
Berserk absolutely does. I mean, a story like Vinland Saga, it's not even like the fights are over in like 1 second because it's real people with swords and other weaponry.
It's more war, like warfare rather than individual fights.
Well,
but yeah.
The next extra one, this was the Priscilla one where we see her meeting Isley, which was cool. So she was immediately reverted. Well, actually, no, she wasn't that much of a child in that like much of a childish form.
She was
She was kind of halfway. It feels like here.
Yeah,
and she has reverted even more since then. But even still, she messed him up. Our funny lion guy.
Yeah, it's true. Our favorite scary lion guy. He ain't funny.
Sorry. Yes.
He's the coolest dude.
I think it's, but it did make me even more interested in Isley.
Yeah, like their dynamic. Yeah,
and now he's gone. It's kind of crazy that we got this extra chapter for him, and then he's already done. That just blows my mind.
There's possibilities for flashbacks. You never know.
True. And then the last one,
training.
True.
Him beating up Chad Racky. It's going to be crazy.
Claire's extra backstory. Then this was actually really good. I actually really like this one. Of all the extra chapters, this probably was my favorite one.
Seemed a little straightforward to me.
Yeah, it was, but I just thought it was fun. I like seeing the moment she cuts her hair. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, that's the Claire I know. I thought it was pretty cute.
It's crazy that girl isn't the other girl.
I know. I know, exactly.
Because everybody else died, didn't they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have to be? I got no idea. It also just highlights that like, they're clearly making the Yoma because they just have one for the training thing.
That's such a good point.
But yeah.
I guess
these side stories are cool. I wonder if there will be any more. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, let's see. Do I see any other 0.5s in this list? No, I do not.
Not in the next volume. But don't skip forward. Oh, that's true. They are 0.5 on Weeb Central, so you could see. Don't tell me. Keep your mouth shut. We'll see.
I feel like at this point, there's kind of no need. I think anything that needs to happen can be fit pretty well into the chapters at this point.
Well, I think all of these probably could have just been normal chapters.
That's true. There are a couple of these that happen, I feel like, before that weren't 0.5s. They just were chapters. I guess that is just volume release situation. You're probably right that it was for the volumes only.
Yeah. Like the Priscilla one, like seems like it absolutely should have been a normal chapter. The rest of them, I guess, whatever.
The Priscilla one, definitely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So what characters are you looking forward to? Like, can you pinpoint a character arc that you are like invested in and looking forward to?
Character arcs are fake. We don't care about those, but I think it sounds like to say this sounds like you're shitting on the characters, but I think it really is like the plot that is the driving force of like what's going to happen next.
Mhm.
I guess Claire and Raki coming back together. Claire meeting Priscilla. I guess Mariah dying. Like I'm so sure it's gonna happen. So not really on that front, but yeah, I don't know. Do you have specific ones?
No, and I the more I think about it, I think that's probably what's limiting me from going to a 10, because I think when I go into a story, I usually am really invested in characters and like character progression and character arcs, looking forward, thinking about like, okay, what is like what's the conclusion to this character that is going to reinforce the themes. And I don't think Claymore really cares for that. I think you're right that it's kind of just the events around them that matter more than their personal journeys. And I wonder if that's what's really limiting me, because right now, I feel like even for the main group, besides like Mariah and Claire, I feel like I don't really see them as characters, like a fully realized characters, as much as like they are kind of their little I don't know, they are their personality traits and their gimmicks. But I guess that's what makes a character. I don't know what makes them feel so I don't know, disconnected for me. But
yeah, I think
I want to be more invested in more people.
I don't know what Mariah has necessarily done that differentiates her from anybody else. I think the only reason I like Mariah is because she's really cool.
Yeah, it's probably just charisma.
But she doesn't have that much outright charisma. She just is cool. I guess what is the difference between cool and charisma? I don't know.
No, good point. Good point. Yeah, she is just
It is funny, because when you were just saying that, I think I had a self-realization that it's obviously I do the joking thing, and it's especially the case with the Denji stuff and Chainsaw Man when I do the Chainsaw Man reviews about screaming at people who want character development or whatever. But I think I just had a self-realization that all my favorite characters are like flat character arc characters who are incredibly charismatic and don't change. Like Denji or Flint from Black Sails, or Luffy, or Momo from Die Buster or something. Like these characters are the exact same throughout, and the thematic point is kind of the world reflecting off of them. Like Goku is kind of like this too. I think that's very interesting.
I think that's exactly it, though, where I feel like the world does not really reflect off of any of these characters in an interesting way. They're part of it. Like, because I totally agree. I was thinking One Piece too when you were talking about this, because no one in One Piece, well, a couple characters do, but for the most part of like the central cast, they are who they are, and they're going to be who they are for the whole story. But the story, I feel like the world does interesting things around it, and every time you get a display of their character, you're like, fuck yeah. But like, what interesting display of Claire's character can happen? I don't
think Claire's ideology is gonna like change the world. I think she is just gonna like save the world through being strong. And I think that's interesting because Luffy is like such an interesting character that like he embodies like the thematic point from like when he's like a tiny little kid. I guess he has a little bit of character development at the beginning where he learns from Shanks not to like get mad at what other people think. And then everything from there, he just is like the thematic point of the series. Like he doesn't care what other people think, like completely removed from like societal like norms. He believes in like freedom and helping people. It's like,
sorry, continue.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess things like that, because Thorfinn is like the exact opposite, right? He like goes on this massive thematic character progression journey. But I think that is a bit of a weakness in Thorfinn's character sometimes for me, where it's like, it's hard to get a grasp on who Thorfinn is because it changes so much.
Yeah. And you kind of anticipate that it's going to change again, even when because like Final Arc, he is kind of representation of the themes and he kind of stays stagnant, and you have to just kind of watch the events unfold around him and happen to him.
Yeah.
Whereas like he kind of I don't know, the story spends 3 arcs building him, and then the last arc is kind of a display of what he's become. And I really like him in the last arc for that. I like that he is static, he's not going to change. He's not going to like change his mind on what he believes in.
No, he's not going to compromise.
Just like how Luffy's always going to be Luffy, and he's not going to suddenly disagree with what he felt and thought before. But I think what makes those 2 characters very good to me, in their kind of static nature, is that there's continuously moments where the world sets something up and you kind of don't expect them to react a certain way, but then they do, and it makes total sense with how they've always been. Or at least how they are set up to be. Like, they're every so often... Actually, no, it happens pretty frequently. Like, Luffy will do or say something, and you're just like, wow, I know this guy so well, where of course this makes sense, but I still didn't expect him to do or say this thing that aligns with him so well. And I don't feel like anyone in this story has that level of definition where if they said something, it would impact how I view them, or even reaffirm how I view them. Because I just view them as cool.
That is true. Because even Claire sometimes will like explain what she thinks she's actually doing, is like, oh, I didn't actually come to help you. I'm just doing this for something. And it's like a little bit of like trying to be selfish that I just never buy. It's like, obviously Claire's here to save the day and be a good person. Shut up. And she's going to end up doing that. And it does feel like there's an attempt to do something. There is an attempt to like guts her up in that sort of way. Mm-hmm. But it's just not really, I don't really buy it. Because Claire is very stoic. And I guess the most interesting comparison is Guts. But Guts is more of a character of like falling from grace and then coming back a bunch of times, where it's like, Guts, you realize what you should be doing here? This is not what you should be doing. How about we get back on track here? And it's like, oh, slowly. Berserk is very much a communal story and sort of character progression in that sense, where the characters sort of have to be together to get better, and it's when they're isolated that they all fall apart. And that's even the case with Guts' second group. Like, Farnese needs Guts to like grow, and Guts needs Puck to grow, and Isidro and Guts need each other to grow, and Shirake needs Isidro to grow, and all this sort of stuff. And whenever they seem to break up or whatever, it's when like bad stuff happens, etc. As is kind of the case with Guts and Casca and Griffith and everything. And because Guts still has like a lot of the time, and it's a very easy thing to criticize Guts for. I see this no good Mir, this no good Jockey Bacon. They sometimes do this. Actually, Mir, I've never heard you say this, so you know, but that piece of shit Jockey Bacon. Like, Guts is very stoic, and he doesn't have a lot of outward personality a lot of the time. And that could very easily be a point of critique. And it's very similar to Claire. But I think Guts has, and I think Berserk is written like in such a specific way with like nuance in its character writing, where like characters will constantly do little things. You know what a big thing is? And I actually did think about this earlier. It could be that there's not enough comedy. It could be that like if Claire was giggling sometimes, because if Claire was like punching Helen when she was acting up a bunch, like I feel like their relationship would be like much better. Like your investment in their relationship. Like if Helen was like, and that's when I told that no good bitch to, and Claire just punched her on the head, and there was a big reaction image of Helen, and Claire's not even reacting. It's like Mikasa and Sasha in Attack on Titan or whatever. It's like, this is completely like a background comedy gag that like Mikasa is always making fun of Sasha, but it like comes back in the end when Mikasa's like crying over Sasha's dead body, and it's like, oh, this feels earned or something.
I don't agree.
Comedy is always a controversial thing.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with it being like comedy, but I do think the characters don't bounce off each other. I maybe not comedy wise.
I guess that was kind of the point.
Needed, like, it's more like the bouncing off.
Like,
where they are kind of defined in the ways that they interact with the situations that happen to them, but I don't see them really, I don't know, reinforcing like
bouncing
who they
off.
are.
That's a good point,
it really is,
because the best ones are probably Deneve and Helen, and
because they're always bouncing off each other.
But
yeah, exactly.
Nobody else really does that. Yeah.
And especially Claire. Like, I don't know, people bounce off Claire in the sense that they do something and then literally bounce off because Claire does not really give anything back to it.
Yeah, give anything.
And I mean, that is kind of the point of her, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing that sucks is she is going to react, and it's going to be Iraqi, and it's going to be kind of corny. Which is funny. She should have kissed her boyfriend. That would have been cool. We hate Claymore, huh? We just spent 90% of this talking about what it's missing.
But I think you're right, though, that it's wanting to understand why I'm not at a 10. Because the overall progression of the story is really good and exciting. So I'm trying to figure out, why isn't this my favorite thing? And I think we've come to the understanding of what at least for me, it's not even conclusion. I think you're totally right that it's, I don't know, I guess character definition in how I don't feel like these things that are happening in the world are pushing the characters to do or say things that are interesting and really define them, as much as, like, if you're Helen, you're funny, everyone else kind of just aura farming a little bit, and it's good, it's fun, but
aura farming is good. It is
good.
There needs to be something else. You can't just be cool, which isn't true. But I guess somehow they're not cool enough to just be cool. I don't know. What's a character that's cool enough just to be cool? I can't think of a good example.
I don't know. I just think of Gunbuster in general. It is just cool. And
hit a Gynax pose. Cross your arms. Look cool.
That's kind of low-key it. Like, if Claire transformed into a Raken form, like and then she comes back out and she's doing the arms folded, I think that would be kind of peak. I think that would be really good. Maybe they just need to go full mecha with this. Maybe they just need to commit and go. I don't know.
No, I think stole the ideas and went full mecha with it. That's
so true. And then, honestly, if anyone in Attack on Titan did that, everyone would say it's corny. Everyone would say it's corny. Anytime you see Yama tried any of that, like with Armin standing in the hands or whatever of the the final battle. That's so true. No, I love Armin.
I guess the closest thing to that, this is a silly Attack on Titan beside, but remember when Peak was like going out of her Titan and transforming like 7 times in a row?
That was raw. I loved that. I love Peak. That was good.
I just remembered that now. I hadn't thought about that in so long. Silly Attack on Titan.
I guess it's kind of. I guess it comes down to expectations, because if you're watching,
Peak is the example, right? She has like no character development or characterization. Really, she's just really cool.
Well, no, she kind of does. She has really good when she's like faking being a hostage, and then she turns around and she's like, "You're my enemy."
That's the epitome of aura farming.
That's so. No, well,
she's with Gabby, and she's like, "Gabby, you're a dumb bitch, but I'm here to save you."
You think she might betray her comrades, and she doesn't. It's kind of Peak.
That's true.
I don't know. She's not. She's hot. Whatever.
That's also kind of a big factor here.
She doesn't have that much, to be fair. Yeah. I don't know. Well, now we're back to, why don't I like these characters as much as I like a character like Peak? What is missing?
Well, I guess the Attack on Titan characters are all like kind of goofy.
That's true. I do think of her silly moments. Like, I think of her when she, like, in the last battle, when she's like running in her human form down like the spine of the Titan or whatever. That's neat, I guess. Whatever. This is an Attack on Titan discussion. I'm trying to just understand what I need from these characters to be like, this is the best. Because it feels like we're just so close.
I guess the goofiness in the Attack on Titan case does ground him a little bit or something. I don't know. Claymore's pretty good. I don't agree with Mia here, who hates it. So just letting all the people out there know.
Because it's still like, I feel like after last volume, that kind of put it to a 9. Because not last volume, the last set of chapters we talked about, the battle in the north, that put it to a 9, and it hasn't gone down. It is it's just setting up for the next big climax, and I want to. I don't know. I feel like again the cast has grown a lot, and now we're kind of
what comes afterwards. But
yeah.
like, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be epic, especially Priscilla comes flying in. That's gonna be sick.
True. I feel like I guess we're gonna thin out the cast again a bit more, but there's still a lot of characters who are kind of left wanting, especially like the newer generation characters. That seems to be where we are kind of still waiting on them to do something cool.
I feel like we follow Renee. Wait, or Diet Rich. One of them, they're all going back and they're going to be at the place and they're going to be around all the girls you met at the very beginning and they're going to have a talk and it's going to be like numbers 3 through 10 or whatever and they're all going to be there and they'll decide to do something or something. I reckon that's how we get a bit of fleshing out there.
Perhaps. I mean, if the organization, does the introduction of the like abyssal feeders like turn the Claymores against the organization on a larger scale, you think?
Like, aren't getting sent out on jobs or something and they feel second class or something and that could be a shifting point.
I could well, I don't know if it'll, maybe not. I don't know. Like, would the abyssal feeders be like a moral question to the Claymores, or do they just kind of not care?
Yeah, I think it'd be more like they're stealing our fucking jobs. What's going on over here? Type situation.
That would be kind of funny, honestly, if these random Claymores were like, creatures. Oh my god, we're out of work. Is actually a
commentary on immigration? My goodness.
Oh,
Isn't that how the dastardly white American thinks about the Mexican? Is that they're stealing their jobs and they're subhuman? My goodness, what commentary. We hate these Claymores. It's actually white supremacy, what Claymores represent.
Yeah.
Silver eyes.
No, it's so true.
I think the white supremacists like blue eyes, though, so we're a bit out. Or this allegory needs some work. I'll figure it out for next time.
How is Galatea alive?
She's
How
like
did she not die? It's crazy. She is cool.
She did lose an arm, right?
She did, yeah. She's missing.
Everybody
an arm,
loses an arm every fight. What are we doing?
I know. I feel like I can't. It's. I don't know. It'll come back.
No, yeah, I don't know. She's not going to do too much fighting, I don't imagine. So
you know what? No,
maybe
it won't come back. She said she's done. She's retired. It's cool.
She's looking after her children now. My goodness, how sweet. Do you still have notes to go through?
No, I think we have exhausted all there is to say.
This topic.
Yeah. I'm just the only reason I feel like this discussion was very much about what Claymore is missing. It's definitely not a dislike for Claymore or even this section of the chapters because I really enjoyed reading them.
I think they're just as good as the last one, personally. But
I mean,
I think you're a little higher on the North arc.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like that level of excitement wasn't really matched this time, but I don't think it was trying to either way. So it's not something I hold against the story. I think I'm just looking for I'm looking for what's going to hit me the same way the climax of the Battle in the North did. And I'm just looking forward to it, I guess. I mean, I really like... What do I really, really like here? I liked the reveal of the greater world, even if I thought the organization being bad was definitely coming. I'm sure everyone feels that way when they're reading. The larger scope of the world, I didn't anticipate to be on the scale it is. I like where Raki and Priscilla are right now. That's definitely set up for something really good. I like our main group of girls. They're definitely... They make for a good party for, I guess, just a main cast. They're fun to follow. And when they pair off, it's kind of always fun. I like how they work with each other in smaller groups, especially Helen and Deneve. I think they stood out. I want more from Uma, but I still like her. And Cynthia and Tabitha. And Isley death was kind of insane, and I'm really invested in Reeful. So I think there's a lot to look forward to, and I don't want to I don't want to end harshly on this set of chapters because I really did enjoy reading it. Do you have anything in particular you're really, really looking forward to?
This next volume is probably going to happen in about 10 to 15 minutes for me. I think, it's all good. I love it. I don't know why me is shit talking it, this whole fucking thingy, I'm just passing the blame here. I think basically, I don't know. There's, I feel like this is probably a very frustrating conversation for anybody who's seen the whole thing, because a lot of our speculation is based on our predictions and stuff like that. And I think this would be a very interesting one to come back and listen to when we
certainly, yeah,
when we finish it, which might be in the next
dead
video.
Next chapter. And we're gonna be like, spend a lot of time hype it up, Reefer. Yeah, no, she's kind of done, but
in the next 3 ones, I talked up Reefle the whole conversation for exactly the wrong time. Anyway, we'll say R.I.P. in peace to her when we get here again.
Yeah.
When we resummon. So Mia, are we doing the rest of the manga for the next part? What are we doing?
Yeah, so like you said, we could either read 30 chapters-ish, because we've been reading about that much per section. And if it feels like a good pause point, we will pause there and do a 4th discussion and then a 5th. Or we might just do one big 4th. Depends really on how the pacing goes from here. I think we very well could, honestly, at the end of next volume, enter like a very long stretch of finale leading to the end. It really could. So I guess it depends on how much longer we are. I don't know. It really depends on the pacing. So we'll see. I think it could be fun. It could be fun to cover the entire rest of the story next time. That would be awesome. So I guess we'll see what happens. And again, if anybody in the comments has a recommendation of how to section off this next set of chapters, definitely let us know. Nobody's given us recommendations that I've seen yet on where it would be good to do pauses, so we're kind of going by ear. I don't know if we picked a good time this time. I think we picked an okay time. I think it leaves just enough intrigue where with the stuff with Beth and Alicia, where it's like, whoa, there's something here.
Something's afoot.
And Reefle's kind of we're on the edge of our seats for that too. So good pause point, I think, but maybe it could have gone later. But it's kind of hard when we're just eyeballing.
It really depends if like the next volume was the cutoff for the next, like it was the entire next sub arc or not, which I really didn't want to check the volume afterwards, because I probably would have seen a spoiler if I saw the next volume cover. So
I wouldn't want to click too far ahead either.
One last thing to speculate with our great commenters on is about the anime and whether or not we should do it. I guess we can ask opinions on that.
Yes. If the current anime is worth covering, or also I would love to hear, because you mentioned the idea that the Claymore community thinks a new anime could be coming. I would love to hear about that. I would love to know what people think and where that idea has come from.
I saw a tweet, okay?
Kyle saw one tweet and
it had 300 likes or so, which seemed like a lot for the Claymore community. So what can I say?
Kyle believes everything he reads on the internet. So
that's true. Let me tell you, this fella, Elon something, he's been telling me some interesting things.
I would love to know if, because I actually don't know what people think of the anime, like the anime that already happened. I don't know what the consensus. I don't know, because I feel like most of these stories
generally it's liked, but I don't know if it's liked by Claymore people. I think it's just generally liked by anime people.
That's always a bad sign.
Yes.
I'm sure our Claymore diehards will tell us if it is worth covering or not. But I think it could be fun to do one video on just how does the anime compare? What do we think? That'd be fun.
And I assume it has an anime-only ending, which is always interesting.
Or maybe it has just gone incomplete.
That is true. It could just be a single season.
Yeah, I literally know nothing about it. I keep forgetting there even is an anime. I'm kind of glad that I don't know that.
2007. That's a
Wow.
year. That's the year it came out.
It is kind of amazing how unspoiled I have gone with this story. I literally know nothing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Usually I feel like I have a really good idea of I don't know, how things end, or at least how endings of stories were perceived. Like, I went into like Vagabond knowing it never finished. And I went into Hunter x Hunter knowing it's always on I guess I'm bringing up a bunch of stories that go on hiatus indefinitely. But I feel like that kind of informs what I think. And even like a story like Berserk, one, I knew that it is slow to release, but also I knew that like it's a super painful story where like really messed up things happen. I knew nothing of Claymore's reputation, not even like the fact that people compare it to Attack on Titan. I knew absolutely zero, and I still know nothing about what people think of it beyond this point. So it is kind of exciting being able to go into the potentially final act of the story soon, knowing very little about what's going to happen. I feel like that almost makes me want to do the rest of it all in one big chunk, just so I don't risk finding out anymore.
We'll see. I'm down. We got to get reading first.
We do have to get reading.
And
okay. Any other final thoughts on the Great Claymore?
No, I think I'm Claymored out.
Okay.
Except I'm not, because I'm going to go read some chapters.
True. I think. Solid 7 out of 10.
Like a 6, maybe.
Kind of, yeah, it might be a 6. Maybe if Claire gets 2 boyfriends.
More naked, yeah.
That's what we're missing. We're missing men and more nudity.
Mm-hmm.
The author's got to lock in. One. Okay. Support links below. Bye.
Hey, that's my outro.
I will keep that in one more time. Next time I'm cutting it.